Sure.
Hello listeners, I'm Melody Sinclair.
And I'm Red McCano, Senior Executive Vice Senior President of Shadaloo's Department of Treasury. You're listening to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. On this wonderful Tuesday, we're caught in the middle of two American holidays. Father's Day was just a couple days ago, and Juneteenth is just a couple of days from now. I checked, Melody, they're both real holidays.
They are. I know you celebrate Father's Day in Shadaloo too, it's just not the same date as ours, right?
That's right, our Father's Day is the 1st of March. You do anything fun for yours, though?
It wasn't fun, but I left my father a voicemail.
Simple, to the point.
Strategic. If I didn't leave one, he'd use that as ammunition later on down the line.
I mean, I guess I could understand being a little, disappointed if someone, didn't call me on my special holiday or, my birthday or something like that, right? I might hold it against them,
I would, too.
I definitely just said all the wrong things there, huh?
Not wrong, actually, Red. What about you, though? Did you try to immerse yourself in our culture and give your father a call?
I did not. My father passed about a decade ago, had to suffer through the irony of being a doctor who could put people back together, but couldn't stop smoking. Cigarettes will kill you, comrades. But hey, saves me the trouble of having to explain to him what I do.
He was hoping you'd have a longer title, huh?
I'm the first son on a long list of sons dating back to before Shadaloo was even called Shadaloo, who's, well, he's technically in the military. I can honestly just imagine the tone of his voice asking me, so what, you some kind of disc jockey now?
You're not a DJ, Red.
I jock some discs on occasion.
You're no longer allowed to touch that side of the board. Remember last Halloween? Do not touch any of those buttons!
Workplace violence! Speaking of disappointments, though, got any encrypted chats you want to leak on the air, Melody?
If you started sharing more sensitive information in the FGC radio group chat. But as it is, you reply to everything with that one gif of Anna Kendrick saluting. Literally, I asked you if you'd be in the studio today and you sent that same gif.
It's a very versatile gif.
It's not.
Either way, several high-ranking officials of the United States Treasury Department, including Department Head Scott Bessent, were in a Signal group chat discussing international finance, tariffs, boring money things us treasurers talk to each other about in group chats.
Do you also reply to everything there with the Anna Kendrick gif?
Yes. Some interesting facts came to light in those chat logs. First, there are plans to tariff some Eastern European nations, notably Latveria and Estonia.
Were plans. It wasn't long after this leak that the federal courts blocked the president's tariffs. New York's Attorney General Letitia James, quote, "The law is clear. No president has the power to single-handedly raise taxes whenever they like," end quote.
Sure, but this administration hasn't exactly been the type to follow court orders, so we'll see what happens. Either way, the leak. More interesting were their comments about Shadaloo. Turns out, Shadaloo isn't being targeted for any economic reasons.
Just plain old-fashioned spite.
Exactly. The White House is just angry, and this is a quote from Bessent. "They're making us look bad, and that's not good." Between taking America's place in WHO and the Paris Accords to both Shadaloo City University and the University of Bisonopolis offering grants for threatened American scientists to continue their research in Shadaloo, to recruiting trans soldiers of America into Shadaloo Foreign Legions, every recent misstep in American politics that Shadaloo has stepped up to, that's why we're facing American tariffs. It's a punishment for doing the right thing, for treating American citizens and citizens of nations across the globe, suck it, flat earthers, with the dignity and respect that the American government won't.
The chat transcripts were uncovered by Metro City Tribute journalist Monique McGinnis. McGinnis was accidentally invited to the encrypted group chat. This is the American government's third major signal link since March. Representatives of Latveria stated that King Von Doom has been apprised of the comments made by Bison and other Treasury Department employees, but has refrained from commenting on them publicly.
Now, let's talk money, eh? Your global exchange rates for this week. Kicking things off, Great Britain pound sterling, 0.198. USD, American money, 0.146. Japanese yen, 0.001. The Afghani from Afghanistan, 0.002. The People's Republic of China, 0.020. Hong Kong, 0.019. The New Zealand dollar, 0.088. The Albanian lek, 0.002. Zeni, 0.003. And the Mexican peso, 0.008.
We'll be back with more How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. After the break, we've got Samson Escapades with the results of Lobby 2025. But for now, here's The Bridge from Mortal Kombat 3.
Welcome back, comrades. You're listening to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. That was The Bridge from Mortal Kombat 3. The Destiny is Destiny tournament week for Lobby 2025 received an unexpected shakeup the day before the event began.
For that coverage, we turn to Shadaloo City esports correspondent Samson Escapades. Samson.
Thank you, Melody. Spinning Cube Games released their V344 patch for Destiny is Destiny last Friday, one day before the third tournament season event at Lobby 2025. Fans and players alike took to social media to express their surprise and frustration. Did Mark wished everyone good luck, happy to have set this tournament out. Lowercase streamed the whole night before the tournament, labbing all the changes. Shadaloo Woo posted the "seriously, right in front of my the night before the tournament" meme.
Did the patch really include that many changes to affect the tournament?
Indeed. It was primarily a balance patch, making minor alterations to every character in the game. Some characters made out better than others.
The vibe on social media is that Buck Washington and JC McWoo made out with the most favorable changes. Evermore, more nerfs than not.
That's what many top players are saying as well. The unexpected drop of the V344 patch was noticeable all night. If I could choose any match of the evening to encapsulate the tone of Lobby 2025's bracket perfectly, it would be the very first match. Mal Scandalous defeated Family Bunny in an incredibly competitive encounter. Both players have been largely absent from the 2025 season, but many expected an easy win for Bunny. Mal Scandalous advanced, however, in what was seen as a huge upset. Unfortunately, Mal's run ended swiftly in the next round at the hand of Max Adams' Flyin' Jenny. Fast forward to the top 8, and we were left with Max Adam, Disinfectant Man, Skogen, Shadaloo Woo, Lowercase, Dougie Boy J, Goose, and Ultra Violins.
All players in the top 15-ish range, except for Skogen and Dougie Boy J. I wonder if that's...
Indeed. Both players had respectable performances in 2024, but have struggled to make a mark this year until now. Skogen blew through 3 top 10 ranked players, including Give 'em the Zip, Shadaloo Woo, and Max Adam. On the other end of the bracket, Lowercase defeated Dougie Boy J in a match many described as the fight of the night. I was more partial to Gens versus 2LX30 from earlier in the bracket, though. The last match of the quarterfinals saw Goose defeating Ultra Violins, and then in semifinals, Goose over Lowercase. Grand finals, Skogen versus Goose. Both women fought hard, but all the buffs in the world to JC McWoo could not help Skogen get a victory on Goose Zanong. Goose won Lobby 2025 in straight sets to conclude the event. The tournament victory was not enough to propel Goose to the number 1 ranked player of the tournament season, but it does bump her up to number 2. Max Adam performed well enough this time to maintain his spot as the top ranked Destiny is Destiny player. The next tournament of the season is subject to change a couple of months from now in August. That's the name of the event, by the way. The name of the event is subject to change. Although I suppose the name of the event is also subject to change, but I don't see any reason why they would change it from subject to change to anything else at this time. I'm Samson Escapades, Shadaloo City Shadaloo. Back to you, Melody in Red.
When we return, we're going to talk about traveling abroad, or maybe not traveling abroad. Things are kind of weird right now.
We've got a music break headed your way first. Stay tuned to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. This is Knock My Door from Tobal 2. Welcome back, listeners. You're listening to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. That was Knock My Door from Tobal 2.
We turn to Rosalie Howell of the Shadaloo Ministry of Travel and Tourism with some travel advisories. Rosalie, it just got a little more difficult to do a little traveling abroad as a citizen of Shadaloo, huh?
Well, that's nothing new. However, these advisories are in place for the safety and security of Shadaloo citizens traveling abroad.
Before we get to that, though, we were hoping to have you on a couple weeks ago.
Unfortunately, our offices were busy going back and forth with immigration officials in the U.S. on the status and treatment of Shadaloo citizens. We're busier right now than we've been in a long time.
Well, what do you got for us?
So, travel to southern Thailand has been upgraded to a level 3 advisory due to civil unrest, domestic terrorism, and human rights violations. Shadaloo citizens abroad would be at risk of serious injury or even death due to the possibility of indiscriminate attacks in public spaces.
What does level 3 advisory actually mean?
Well, Melody, it means our citizens should strongly reconsider traveling to any area with that advisory. The Shadaloo government has limited ability to provide emergency services to Shadaloo citizens in southern Thailand or anywhere with an advisory level that high.
And this isn't just Shadaloo. Many countries have upped their travel restriction because of the current political climate, America included.
That's right. Both our countries announced them right around the same time.
Any fear of the trouble heading further north to Shadaloo borders?
Well, Melody, some amount of terror is always present, but our advisory only applies to the southern border right now. And then there's a travel advisory for the United States of America. The U.S. has been upgraded to a level 3 advisory as well for civil unrest, arbitrary enforcement of local laws, wrongful detention by U.S. border security officials, state-sponsored kidnappings, and human rights violations.
I can't help but notice our list is longer than the country with citizens literally fighting a military junta.
It's not the size of the civil unrest, Melody. It's how you...
You should have just stopped after the first sentence, Red.
Yeah, probably. Got anything else for us, Rosalie?
Not just yet, Red. This is Rosalie Howell extending a warm welcome and sincere invitation. Come see us in beautiful Shadaloo. We got all the real nice stuff here.
Before we go to break, we're going to take a call. Red, how can our listeners talk to us?
You can always give the studio a call or send us a message on social media at HMI Bison Dollars and use the hashtag BisonDollarsQRD.
Caller, you're on FGC Radio. What's your name? Where are you from?
Sup, Dougie J, Shadaloo City.
Dougie J, I'm glad you called in. There's something I've actually been meaning to ask you. There's a Dougie Boy J in Shadaloo City's esports scene that I've seen pop up a few times in our esports coverage. Is that you? Are you Dougie Boy?
Oh, yeah. I play a little Destiny.
Well, congrats on your recent top 8 at Lobby. It was an awesome showing.
I mean, if you really want to congratulate me, you could play a little, Brave Sword, Braver Soul.
I think we can make that happen. You're listening to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. This is Brave Sword, Braver Soul.
Welcome back, comrades. You're listening to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. That was Brave Sword, Braver Soul. So, something like a third of Americans rent. You rent, Melody, right?
I do. It's a small 2-bedroom. You've met my roommate Marco before.
Yeah, plays Tekken. Just a little over a third of Americans rent. And I'm not just talking about apartments. That includes renting houses, too. That means the other 2/3 of Americans own homes. And that sounds awesome. Except that rate is actually closer to 50% when you take into consideration factors like the corporations buying houses, homes owned for the express purpose of being rented, or used like an Airbnb. What I'm trying to say is, home ownership in America seems like a pipe dream to most, and Visual Capitalist compiled a whole lot of information together to demonstrate just how much of a pipe dream it is for most Americans.
The income needed to buy a home in 2025. I feel like this map is somewhat misleading. It colors many of these states blue to indicate that they're the least cheap, which is... they technically are, but a lot of these numbers don't actually look attainable for most Americans. The numbers are not giving off blue vibes.
So Mel, if you could pick a house in any state, where would you pick?
I can see where this is going, but I enjoy being in the city, Chicago or New York City. I like having the robust suite of public transportation available to me.
The income needed for a house in Illinois, $12,118 in Bison dollars. In New York, $27,740 in Bison dollars. Are you anywhere near that, Melody?
I'm sure if I doubled my hours and lived off raw potatoes, I could swing a house in Chicago at least.
I mean, unlimited access to Chicago dogs and Italian beef doesn't sound half bad. I bet if you took Marco with you, you could at least afford to cook the potatoes. Maybe even put some salt and butter on them.
Butter in this economy.
Hey, Marco's Kazuya improving any?
Despite his all-nighters and only having to work part-time to make rent due to his parental benefactors, I don't think he's going to be making top 8 anytime soon.
Brutal. Now, me personally, I'd love a place in New Orleans, Louisiana. Income required, $11,534 in Bison dollars. And I just wanted to add that I do not make that much yearly. Liz and I together could make it happen, though. Now, these numbers were calculated for a 3-bedroom house, 6.65 rate over 30 years, 10% down, taxes, insurance, etc., etc. The point is, though, I'm a full-time, mid-level government employee. You're a full-time radio DJ, Mel, with a variety of odd jobs for extra income. A house in even the lowest income-required parts of the country is still largely out of reach.
The lowest required income for home ownership hails from West Virginia.
Country roads take me to $10,366 in Bison dollars. 2/3 of Americans believe home ownership is entirely out of reach for them due to a combination of low and stagnant wages, the rising cost of literally everything, and the utterly abysmal state of the housing market, and I don't blame them. It's honestly something I have difficulty wrapping my head around, coming from a country where housing is a right, and social programs are in place to help ensure everyone has somewhere to live.
What's your place like here?
So the weird thing is, Americans like to talk down on social housing programs in socialist nations, like we live in these Judge Dredd-style mega-slum apartments or panopticons. But the apartment Liz and I share a few towns from the Shadaloo Embassy is smaller than our apartment in Shadaloo City, and I can guarantee you it cost more, too.
Before we go to break, we've got one more call to answer. Caller, you're on FGC Radio. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Warren from Opossum City.
Hey, Warren. What can we play for you today?
I was hoping you could play Hey There, Delilah. I wanted to dedicate it to my late girlfriend.
Absolutely, comrade. Lucky for her, FGC Radio can be heard across the realms. Earth Realm, Outworld, Hinpar, the Nether Realm, Sato?
They're still working out some municipal zoning in Saito.
Either way, best wishes to you, Warren. You're listening to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio. This is The Circle from Guilty Gear Strive. I see the circle!
Welcome to the infinite world. What's my end game? There came a zero. Send here, there is a silence everywhere. No peace either. Where there is no beginning and no end. Will life be like that? And yet the words that won't go is through my head. God, do you see the radio light? Do you hear the beautiful chant? Do you feel the tender warmth? Nothing here. Pitch black, pure white, all the same.
That was The Circle from Guilty Gear Strive. If you're just tuning in to How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio, then you've joined us just in time to say goodbye.
And farewell, but don't worry. Coming up next, an entire block of Nunya.
This is why you shouldn't skip production meetings, Red. Nunya was pulled last minute. Updog is actually scheduled next, right here on FGC Radio for How Much in Bison Dollars. I'm Melody Sinclair.
And I'm Red McCano, Senior Executive Vice Senior President of Shadowloo's Department of Treasury. Gloria ad Pax Bisonica, and enjoy your day. Hey Mel, what's up, dog?
Nothing. What's up with you?
How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio is a How Much in Bison Dollars production brought to you by FGC Radio. You can follow FGC Radio on Blue Sky at FGC Radio. How Much in Bison Dollars on FGC Radio features music by Terrible Brosif. You can follow Brosif on both Twitter and TikTok at Terrible Brosif. The role of Red McCano was played by me, How Much in Bison Dollars. You can find me on most social media sites at HMI Bison Dollars, or go to the random box and hold L2. Press left, 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 down, 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 and then press square and triangle or circle and X. Melody Sinclair was portrayed by Solstice Hannan. Solstice can be found on most relevant and some irrelevant social media sites at Darker Solstice. Samson Escapades was portrayed by Professor Tom of the Shujin Academy VGM Club podcast. You can follow the professor on Blue Sky at Shujin Academy and on Instagram at Shujin Academy VGM Club. You can listen to the Shujin Academy VGM Club podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Dougie J was portrayed by Faust. Faust can be found on Instagram and Twitter at SadBoyFaust. Rosalie Howell was portrayed by Shu Skogen. They can be found on YouTube, Blue Sky, and Red Note at ShoePixie. Warren was portrayed by Stephen W. Hunt. Follow them on YouTube at Kumite Corner and everything else on their Linktree, Stephen W. Hunt VA. Special thanks to FGC Radio for broadcasting this show, and thank you, comrades, for listening to it. How Much in Bison Dollar airs the first and third Tuesday of every month. Reruns of broadcasts can now be found on platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever else you might enjoy listening to podcasts. This week's divination by Groppler Morn is 395130. I don't want to make omelets. Thank you, and take care.